The shotgun cracked through the crisp Kansas dawn like a thunderclap from hell, shattering the fragile peace of the Harper farmhouse. Alex Harper's heart slammed against his ribs as he bolted upright in bed, the echo vibrating in his bones, pulling him from a dream where hands, gentle, forbidden hands, traced secrets across his skin. Downstairs, his father's voice roared like a storm over the plains. "Boys, get your asses down here now." It wasn't a hunt gone wrong. It was the sound of their world cracking open, and Alex knew, deep in his gut, that his truth was the bullet finally finding its mark. In the dim hallway of their creaky two-story home on the outskirts of Willow Creek, Alex collided with his brothers, Ben and Chris, the three of them a mirror image of chaos in matching flannel pajamas, their dark curls wild from sleep. Born just minutes apart 22 years ago, they had always been inseparable, three halves of a whole, forged in the fire of a family that prized strength over secrets. Ben, the eldest by 2 minutes, clapped Alex on the shoulder with his trademark grin, oblivious to the storm brewing inside his brother. "What the hell was that, man? Dad finally lose it with the Coyotes?" Chris, the quiet middle one, rubbed his eyes, already sensing the weight in the air, his brow furrowing like it did before a tornado warning. They tumbled down the stairs into the kitchen, with a scent of burnt coffee mingled with the sharp tang of gunpowder. Their father, Harlan Harper, stood like a monolith by the back door, his weathered face carved from decades of tilling unforgiving soil, a Remington shotgun still smoking in his grip. At 58, he was the backbone of their world, a widower since their mother passed from cancer when they were teens, leaving him to raise 3 boys with calloused hands and iron rules. "Your uncle's truck," he growled, nodding toward the window where shattered glass glittered on the gravel drive like fallen stars. "Vandals. Probably those city punks from town, stirring trouble again." His eyes, steel gray and unyielding, swept over them. Ben, Chris, grabbed the rifles. "Alex, you stay put. Check the barn for tracks." Alex's stomach twisted. Stay put? As if he were the fragile one, the odd man out in their trio of sameness. He nodded, swallowing the bile rising in his throat, and slipped out into the chill morning air. The barn loomed ahead, a red silhouette against the rising sun, its shadows hiding more than just footprints. Inside, amid the hay bales and rusted tools, he found it. Not just muddied boot prints, but a spray-painted slur on the wall, "Freak," fading into the wood like a ghost from his nightmares. His hands trembled as he traced the letters. This wasn't random. Someone had seen him last week, in a shadowed alley behind O'Malley's bar, locked in a stolen kiss with Jamal, the new farmhand from Tulsa with eyes like polished amber and a laugh that warmed the coldest nights. Back in the kitchen, the brothers pieced it together without words. Ben paced like a caged wolf, his broad shoulders tense under his shirt. "This ain't right, Dad. Willow Creek's supposed to be safe. Our town, our people." Chris leaned against the counter, arms crossed, his mind already whirring through solutions, the way he always did for their math homework or family budgets. Alex hovered by the door, the weight of the word freak burning in his chest. He wanted to scream it, to shatter the facade he'd built brick by brick since puberty, when he'd realized the flutter in his heart for boys wasn't a phase, but a fire. But the words stuck, thorns in his throat, because what if saying them out loud turned his brother's love to ash? Harlan slammed a fist on the table, rattling the coffee mugs. "We Harpers don't bend to cowards. We'll fix the truck, report it to Sheriff Tate. But mark my words, boys, this world's changing, and not for the better. Stick together, or it'll tear you apart." His gaze lingered on Alex a beat too long, as if sensing the fracture lines beneath his son's skin. Breakfast was silent after that, forks scraping plates like accusations. Alex stole glances at Ben, who shoveled eggs with boyish hunger, dreaming aloud about his date with Sarah, the bubbly redhead from the diner. Chris sketched idly on a napkin, farm layouts, escape routes from the hate creeping into their Eden. As the sun climbed, the brothers scattered to their routines. Ben headed to the fields, his tractor rumbling like a heartbeat across the acres their grandfather had claimed in the Dust Bowl days. Chris tinkered in the shed, wiring solar panels for the co-op's new green initiative, his passion for engineering a quiet rebellion against their dirt undernails legacy. Alex assigned the light, chores, muck stalls in the barn, the rhythm of shovel against muck mirroring the churn in his soul. Jamal was there too, forking hay with effortless grace, his faded jeans hugging hips that Alex had mapped in fever dreams. At 24, Jamal carried the weight of his own secrets, a black man in a town that whispered slurs like prayers, chasing a fresh start after his family's farm foreclosed back in Oklahoma. Their eyes met across the dim space, a spark igniting the air. "Heard the shot," Jamal murmured, leaning on his pitchfork, his voice low and rich like the earth after rain. "You okay, Alex?" The concern in his hazel eyes undid Alex, pulling him closer under the pretense of stacking bales. In a shadowed corner, their fingers brushed, electric forbidden. "It's nothing," Alex lied, but his voice cracked, and Jamal pulled him into a fierce embrace, lips crashing like waves on a hidden shore. For a stolen minute, the world narrowed to Jamal's warmth, the scrape of stubble, the promise of more. "Tell them," Jamal whispered against his neck, "or it'll eat you alive." But telling meant unraveling everything. That night, as thunder rolled in from the west, the brothers gathered in their shared attic room, a relic of childhood forts and whisper confessions. Posters of MLB stars peeled from the walls, a testament to dreams deferred. Ben sprawled on his bed, tossing a baseball, recounting his latest conquest with Sarah. "She's the one, guys. Feels like home, you know?" Chris chuckled, buried in a textbook on renewable energy, but his eyes flicked to Alex, who sat cross-legged on the floor, sketching absent-mindedly. Jamal's face, half-formed in charcoal. "You ever feel like you're hiding?" Alex blurted, the words escaping like prisoners from a cell. The room stilled. Ben caught the ball mid-air, sitting up. "Hiding what, bro? From what?" Chris closed his book slowly, the creak of the spine echoing like a door shutting. Alex's pulse thundered. This was it, the precipice. But fear clamped down, and he forced a laugh. "Not just the vandals. Makes you think." Ben relaxed, punching his arm playfully. "We're Harpers. We face it head-on." Chris watched, silent, his intuition a blade at Alex's back. Days blurred into a tense rhythm. The sheriff's investigation fizzled. No leads, just shrugs about kids being kids. But the town buzzed. At the Willow Creek feed store, old-timers muttered about changes and that new hand, their eyes sliding toward Alex like accusations. Sarah pulled Ben aside after church, her whisper carrying on the wind. "People are talking, Ben, about your brother." Ben brushed it off, loyal to a fault, but doubt seated in his eyes. Jamal and Alex stole moments. A brush of hands in the tool shed, a midnight drive to the old quarry where fireflies danced like stars fallen to earth. There, under a blanket of midnight sky, Jamal shared his scars. The beatings in high school for holding a boy's hand, the church that branded him sinner. "Love ain't a sin, Alex. It's the only holy thing." Their bodies entwined, slow and reverent. Alex tasted freedom for the first time. Jamal's skin like sun-warmed leather, his breath's prayers against Alex's collarbone. But dawn always came, dragging him back to the farmhouse, where mirrors reflected a liar's face. The breaking point came on a sweltering July afternoon, the kind where heat mirages danced on the horizon. Ben burst into the barn, face thunderous, Sarah's tear-streaked words spilling from his mouth. "What the hell, Alex?" Sarah heard from the diner. "People saying you're with Jamal, that you're one of those." He choked on the word gay. Chris followed, pale as milk, book forgotten in his hand. Alex froze, pitchfork midair, Jamal stepping protectively forward from the shadows. The air thickened, charged like the storm clouds gathering. Ben's fists clenched, not in anger but confusion, his world tilting. "We're brothers, man. Triplets. How could you not tell us?" Chris's voice was a whisper, raw. "We would've. I don't know. Understood." Harlan's truck rumbled up the drive then, drawn by the shouts, and the patriarch stormed in, shotgun in hand. Not loaded, but the threat lingered. "What's this poison the town's spewing?" But his eyes locked on Jamal, then Alex, and understanding dawned like a slap. Words flew like shrapnel. Harlan's bellowed Bible verses clashed with Ben's betrayed shouts, Chris's pleas for calm dissolving into sobs. Jamal stood firm, arm around Alex, his voice steady. "This ain't poison. It's love. Real as the land you fight for." Alex finally let the dam break. "I'm gay, Dad. Have been since forever. And Jamal, he's my heart." The silence that followed was deafening, broken only by the first fat raindrops on the tin roof. Harlan turned away, shoulders slumping, the fight draining from him like blood from a wound. Ben punched the wall, splintering wood, then sank to his knees, whispering, "Why'd you hide?" Chris pulled Alex into a hug, fierce and unyielding. "We're still us. Always." But the damage rippled outward. That night, Harlan drank himself into silence, staring at their mother's photo, her smile a ghost of acceptance he'd never mustered. The town turned feral. Eggs splattered the farmhouse windows, crosses burned on the lawn, not by strangers, but neighbors who'd shared potlucks and prayers. Ben, torn between loyalty and the straight-laced world he'd built with Sarah, argued endlessly, his dates turning to fights. "How do I explain this to her folks? To anyone?" Chris buried himself in work, installing wind turbines as if harnessing the wind could steady his spinning world, but late nights found him at Alex's door, sharing beers and fears. I love you, bro, but it's tearing us. Jamal became the lightning rod. Whispers followed him at the co-op, tools accidentally misplaced, threats scrawled on his truck. Yet he stayed, cooking soul food in their kitchen, collards and cornbread that filled the house with unfamiliar warmth, defying the hate with quiet strength. One evening, as cicadas hummed their dirge, he and Alex walked the back 40, hands clasped openly now, the risk be damned. Run with me, Jamal urged, eyes fierce. To Chicago, or L.A., somewhere they can't touch us. Alex hesitated, the triplets bond a chain around his ankle. I can't leave them, not when they're breaking for me. The climax erupted at the annual Willow Creek Harvest Festival, a tradition since the town's founding in 1892. Booths lined Main Street with apple pies and pumpkin carvings, hayrides snaking through fields heavy with corn. The Harpers manned their stall, as always, selling heirloom seeds and honey from their hives. But eyes bored into Alex like drills, murmurs swelling to jeers. A group of roughnecks, sons of the old guard, cornered Jamal by the Ferris wheel, slurs flying like fists. Go back to your kind, boy. Ben saw it first, charging like a bull, fist swinging. He's family. Chris followed, wrenching a man off Jamal's back, his engineer's precision turning to raw fury. Alex dove into the fray, pulling his brother's back, blood trickling from a split lip. Harlan arrived last, parting the crowd with his presence alone, shotgun slung over his shoulder like a scepter. Enough! His voice boomed over the midway music. This is my son, my blood. Touch him again, and you'll answer to me. The fight spilled into headlines, the local paper's front page. Harper triplets stand against hate. But victory was Pyrrhic. Sarah left Ben, her parents' ultimatum too heavy. I love you, but not like this, she wept. Harlan retreated into silence, poring over old letters from their mother, her words about unconditional love finally piercing his armor. One rainy night, he found Alex in the barn, staring at the faded freak. I failed you, Harlan admitted, voice gravel. Thought strength meant hiding weakness. But your mother's strength? It was in loving fierce, no matter what. He pulled Alex into a hug, the first since boyhood, and whispered, I'm proud of all my boys. Rebuilding was a slow harvest. Ben threw himself into therapy sessions in nearby Topeka, unpacking the knot of confusion and fear, emerging with a vow. You're my brother first. Always. He started a local alliance, awkward at first, flyers in the diner, talks at the VFW, turning pain into purpose. Chris channeled his grief into innovation, patenting an affordable wind system for small farms, dedicating it to truth that bends but doesn't break. Jamal and Alex's love deepened, roots intertwining like the creeper vines on the porch. Nights of whispered futures, mornings of shared chores, a romance forged in fire. By autumn's end, as leaves turned the fields to flame, the Harpers gathered for their mother's birthday ritual, releasing lanterns into the twilight sky, wishes carried on paper wings. Alex wrote his Truth Sets Us Free. Ben's Family Endures. Chris's Love Without Limits. Harlan scrawled in shaky hand, Forgive and hold tight. Jamal added his own, Arm around Alex. Home is where hearts align. As the lanterns rose, dotting the stars like new constellations, Alex felt the weight lift, not gone, but shared. In a heartland's vast embrace, where winds whispered secrets to the wheat, he stood with his brothers, his lover, his father, a triplet no longer alone, his truth not a fracture, but the glue binding them whole. For in hiding, he'd lost pieces of himself. In revealing, he'd found a family reborn, proving that love, in all its colors, was the truest legacy of the land. The lanterns faded into the infinite black, but their glow lingered in Alex's chest like embers refusing to die. Back in the farmhouse, the air hummed with unspoken vows, the kind that stitch wounds without needles. Harlan poured 4 glasses of bourbon, his ritual for hard truths, handing one to Jamal with a gruff nod that spoke volumes. Welcome to the madness, son. Jamal accepted, his smile a bridge across chasms, and clinked glasses with the brothers. Ben, still sporting a purple bruise on his jaw from the festival brawl, raised his with forced cheer. To not dying idiots. Chris snorted, the sound breaking the tension like a crack in ice. To surviving them. Sleep came fitful that night, dreams weaving brawls with bouquets, fists turning to flowers in Jamal's hands. Alex woke to the scent of frying bacon, sunlight slanting through curtains their mother had sewn from feed sacks. Downstairs, the kitchen buzzed with an unfamiliar normalcy. Ben flipping strips at the stove, Chris poring over blueprints at the table, Harlan nursing coffee and reading the paper aloud, skipping the editorial decrying moral decay in their town. Jamal sat beside Alex, thigh pressed warm against his under the table, a silent anchor. But normalcy was a fragile bloom in Willow Creek's thorny soil. At the co-op that morning, where farmers bartered seed and stories, the whispers had evolved into stares that stripped skin. Old Mr. Wilkins, who'd taught the boys to bay hooks, spat tobacco at Jamal's boots. Harlan's gone soft, letting that influence. Ben overheard, his temper flaring like dry tinder. Say it to my face, Wilkins. My brother's man is twice the man you'll ever be. Fists clenched again, but Chris intervened, his voice calm as a mediator's. We're here for business, sir. Seeds for the East Field. The transaction closed awkwardly, but the seed of division was planted deep. Alex threw himself into the harvest, the physical ache a bomb for the emotional one. Side by side with Jamal, they threshed wheat under the relentless sun, sweat mingling like vows. Jamal's stories flowed, tales of Tulsa nights under neon signs, drag shows where queens ruled with glitter and grit, an underground scene that pulsed with unapologetic joy. That's what I want for us, Jamal said, wiping brow with forearm, his muscles rippling like the fields. A life where we dance in the light, not shadows. Alex leaned into him during a water break, lips brushing ear. Soon, I promise. Yet promise is frayed under pressure. Ben's alliance meetings started small, in the church basement, folding chairs scraping linoleum, a handful of locals sipping weak coffee. Sarah showed up once, tentative, her red hair tied back like a truce flag. I miss you, Ben. But this, your family. Ben's eyes softened, the pull of old love warring with new truths. It's not just family. It's me, figuring out what matters. She left with a hug, but the door clicked shut like a period on their chapter. Ben drowned the ache in midnight runs, pounding pavement until his lungs burned, confiding in Alex over porch swings. Losing her hurts, but hiding who we are, that'd kill me slower. Chris's breakthroughs came in solitude. In the shed, amid whirring fans and soldered wires, he built prototypes that hummed with potential. Small turbines that could power a home off-grid, defying the oil barons who gripped the county. One evening, he unveiled it to the family, the blades spinning silent and swift. For independence, he said, but his eyes on Alex said more, for breaking free. Harlan inspected it gruffly, then clapped Chris's back. Smart as your ma. She'd be proud. The praise, rare as rain in August, sealed something between them, a father's thawing heart. Jamal's resilience shone brightest. Despite slashed tires and anonymous calls, go home, inward. He organized a community garden on unused co-op land, rows of tomatoes and okra rising like flags of hope. Kids from town, including the Roughneck's younger siblings, showed up with dirty hands and curious eyes. Why greens from the south? One asked. Jamal knelt, soil caking his knees. Because roots run deep, little man. They adapt, thrive anywhere. Alex watched from afar, chest swelling with a love that felt infinite, unbreakable. But the town's underbelly stirred. A petition circulated, led by the pastor's wife, Evelyn Tate, with her pinched lips and pearl clutch, demanding Jamal's dismissal. Protecting our values, it read, signatures blooming like weeds. Harlan found it on his doorstep, crumpled and damning. That night, family council convened around the oak table, lamplight casting long shadows. They're coming for you, Harlan rumbled to Jamal. For all of us. Ben slammed his fist. Let him try. I've got half the VFW signing my counterpetition. Chris nodded, laptop open to legal precedents. Discrimination laws, we can fight. Alex's voice cut through, steady for the first time. No more fighting alone. We're Harpers. Triplets. And Jamal's one of us now. The words hung, a declaration. Harlan met his gaze, then nodded slowly. Damn right. They strategized till dawn. Letters to the editor, calls to Topeka reps, a town hall to air grievances. Jamal squeezed Alex's hand under the table, his touch a pulse of solidarity. The town hall was a powder keg held in the high school gym that smelled of sweat and faded glory. Folding chairs groaned under the weight of grudges, the air thick with popcorn from the concession stand masking malice. Pastor Tate opened with fire and brimstone, quoting Leviticus like ammunition. God made man for woman. Anything else is abomination. Murmurs swelled to cheers from the back. Evelyn's petition waved like a banner. Ben stood first, voice cracking but resolute. My brother's gay. Deal with it. He's braver than any of you cowards hiding behind verses. Gasps rippled. Chris followed, projector humming to life with stats, suicide rates in LGBTQ youth, economic hits from hate-driven exodus. This isn't scripture. It's science. And hard. Harlan rose last, a colossus in flannel, his voice booming off cinderblock walls. I raised 3 sons to be men. Alex loves a man. That don't make him less. It makes him mine. Silence fell, heavy as harvest moon. Jamal spoke softly, commanding the room. I came here running from hate, found love instead. Judge me? Fine. But judge the boys who taught me family ain't blood, it's choice. Alex joined him, hand in hand, their unity a shield. Questions pelted like hail, accusations, curiosities, tears from unlikely allies. A young mother, clutching her toddler, confessed her son's secret struggles. An old farmer admitted his brother's hidden life, lost to shame. The hall didn't erupt in applause, but fractures formed, petitions torn, hands shaken tentatively. Outside, under sodium lamps, Ben hugged Alex fierce. Proud of you, little bro. Chris grinned, turbine blueprint tucked underarm. We won the night. Harlan clapped Jamal's shoulder. Stay. Build with us. Healing unfurled like spring corn. Ben rekindled with a new girl, Mia, a teacher from Lawrence with rainbow pins on her bag and a laugh that echoed Sarah's but rang truer. Their first date. A drive-in showing old westerns, Ben's arm around her, as if staking claim on openness. Chris's turbine sold to a Wichita startup, funding scholarships for queer youth in rural Kansas. His quiet revolution. Harlan hung their mother's quilt in the living room. Its patches a mosaic of loves unjudged. For Alex and Jamal, romance bloomed unchecked. Weekends at the quarry, picnics of fried chicken and dreams. Jamal sketching architectural plans for a life beyond farms. Alex confessing aspirations to study art in Chicago, capturing heartland souls on canvas. Their nights were symphonies, bodies arching in the moonlight filtering through attic windows, whispers of forever mingling with breaths. You're my truth, Jamal murmured once, tracing Alex's triplet scar, a faint line from shared birth. And I'm yours, Alex replied, sealing it with a kiss that tasted of home. Yet shadows lingered. A letter arrived from Tulsa, Jamal's estranged father, words scrawled in regret. Heard about your stand. Wish I'd been man enough. Jamal read it aloud by the fire, tears carving tracks. Healing starts somewhere. Alex held him, their love a forge for forgiveness. Winter blanketed Willow Creek in white, burying old hates under fresh snow. The brothers revived a childhood tradition, ice fishing on the frozen creek, lines dangling into black water like lines to the past. Beers cracked, stories spun, Ben's wild high school pranks, Chris's nerdy inventions gone awry, Alex's hidden poems now shared openly. Jamal fits seamlessly, his tales of Southern Gothic weaving in, laughter echoing off ice. As spring teased with green shoots, the family expanded. Mia moved in, her energy a whirlwind, baking pies that rivaled their mothers. Chris met Theo at a renewable conference, a lanky engineer with glasses and a shy smile, sparks flying over circuit boards. Not gay, Chris confided later, but bi-curious enough to explore. Ben Vuped, Klappingbex. Harlan, ever the patriarch, grilled burgers for the growing circle, his gruff welcome a benediction. Alex's art took flight. A local gallery in Topeka featured his series, Triplet Truths, portraits of Ben's resolve, Chris's ingenuity, Jamal's grace, Harlan's redemption. Opening night, the room swelled with supporters, even Pastor Tate in the corner, uninvited but unmoving, eyes softening as he viewed a piece of Alex embracing his brothers. Beautiful, he muttered, slipping out like a ghost converted. The ultimate harvest came on their 23rd birthday, the farmhouse aglow with lanterns once more. Guests filled the yard, townies turned friends, Mia's pies steaming, Chris's turbines powering the lights. Jamal proposed under the stars, rings simple as a wheat stalk bent into gold. Marry me, Alex Harper. Let's root here, grow tall. Tears blurred the yes, brothers cheering, Harlan's arm around them all. In that moment, as cake crumbled and dances swirled, Alex knew the truth. Born identical, they'd chosen differently, but love had made them whole. No longer hiding, they shone, a testament to the human heart's wild, unwavering bloom in America's vast, forgiving fields. Summer's heat wave rolled in like an uninvited guest, turning the Kansas air to a thick soup that clung to skin and souls alike. The Harper farm pulsed with new rhythms, Jamal's garden yielding baskets of ruby tomatoes, Mia's laughter echoing from the kitchen where she and Ben plotted expansion, a bed and breakfast dream to draw tourists to Willow Creek's hidden charms. Chris's workshop hummed constantly now, Theo's visits a weekly fixture, their debates over solar schematics spilling into porch beers. Harlan, ever the anchor, patrolled the fences on his aging John Deere, but his eyes lingered longer on the horizon, as if scanning for threats long subdued. Alex thrived in the glow, his sketches evolving into bold oils, canvases alive with the land's raw poetry, figures intertwined in defiance, and desire. Jamal watched him paint one afternoon in the barn loft, sunlight shafting through cracks like spotlights. "You're magic," Jamal said, coming up behind, chin on Alex's shoulder, arms circling waist. The brush paused mid-stroke, Alex leaning back into solid warmth. "We're magic." Their kiss deepened, paint-smeared fingers tangling in curls, the world fading to the creak of floorboards and shared sighs. But peace, like drought-resistant crops, required tending. Ben's alliance had grown, meetings now in the community center with diverse faces, farm wives with rainbow stickers on thermoses, teens grappling with their own truths. One night, a kid named Riley, barely 16 with freckles and fear in his eyes, cornered Alex after. "How'd you know?" And tell without breaking. Alex knelt to his level, voice gentle. "The knowing? It's a quiet storm inside. Telling? Scarier than any twister, but the calm after. Worth every gale." Riley nodded, a spark igniting, and Ben clapped Alex's back later. "You're changing things, bro. For real." Theo's integration brought levity. A wiry New Yorker with a Brooklyn twang, he teased Chris mercilessly about cowboy romance, but his hand steadied on Chris's during turbine tests, affection blooming subtle as prairie flowers. One family dinner, as platters passed, roast chicken from their coop, greens from Jamal's plot. Theo raised a fork. "To found family. Beats blood sometimes." Harlan grunted approval, passing the gravy. "Damn straight." The pun landed soft, laughter rippling, a milestone in mending. Yet fractures resurfaced in whispers. Evelyn Tate, unrepentant, rallied a splinter group at the diner, boycotting Harper Honey. Sales dipped, Harlan's jaw tightening over ledgers. "Let him starve their sweet tooth," he muttered, but worry etched deeper lines. Jamal countered with markets in Topeka, his charm selling jars like elixirs. "Taste the fight in every drop," he'd quip, hazel eyes winking at Alex across stalls. The real storm brewed from within. Ben confessed over a late-night bonfire, flames crackling secrets. "Dreamt of Sarah last night. Still hurts, like a toothache that won't quit." Mia, overhearing from her lawn chair, squeezed his hand. "Grief's a ghost, Ben. Doesn't mean you love less now." Alex shared his own hauntings, nights when doubt crept, whispering he'd ruin them all. Jamal pulled him close by the fire's edge. "You saved us. Remember that." Chris's vulnerability surfaced during a harvest moon drive, Theo at the wheel of his hybrid, windows down to whip wind. "Never thought I'd feel this," Chris admitted, glancing at the man beside him. It's like discovering a new field on the farm. Scary, exciting." Theo grinned, hand on knee. "Explore it with me." "No ruse." Back home, Chris confided in the brothers, their attic a confessional once more. Ben Vuped. "Welcome to the rainbow, middleman." Alex hugged him tight. Proud. So damn proud. Harlan's evolution was the deepest cut. Sundays found him in the attic, unearthing their mother's journals. Yellowed pages filled with her quiet radicalism, letters to civil rights groups, clippings on Stonewall, she'd hidden like contraband. One evening, he handed Alex a passage. "Love my boys equal, no matter who warms their beds. That's God's design." Tears stung. She knew. Harlan nodded, voice thick. "Guessed. Wanted you safe till you were strong." Father and son sat shoulder to shoulder, the weight lifting like fog at noon. Romance for Alex and Jamal wove through the mundane. Dawn jogs where feet synced like heartbeats. Evenings stargazing on the quilt, mapping constellations into futures. A gallery in Kansas City, Jamal's architecture firm specializing in sustainable homes for queer families. Their intimacy deepened, exploratory and tender. Nights when Jamal traced Alex's body like a cartographer, mapping desires with lips and whispers. "Every inch of you mine," he'd breathe, and Alex would arch, lost in a symphony of skin on skin, cries muffled in pillows to spare sleeping brothers. Town dynamics shifted incrementally. The garden became a hub, workshops on composting drawing skeptics who stayed for the camaraderie. Pastor Tate, softened by his grandson's coming out, a shy admission at Ben's meeting, preached a tentative sermon on love thy neighbor, really. Evelyn grumbled, but attended a potluck, her pecan pie a white flag. A crisis tested the bonds. A freak hailstorm shredded the crops mid-August, silver pellets pummeling like judgment. Fields lay battered, insurance claims a labyrinth. Despair settled, Harlan pacing like a caged bear. One bad night, and we're dust. Ben rallied volunteers, alliance members, even Wilkins, replanting cover crops by lantern light. Chris rigged generators, powering tools through blackouts. Jamal coordinated aid from Tulsa networks, trucks rumbling in with seedlings and solidarity. Alex painted through the fury, his canvas a storm of grays and golds, destruction birthing resilience. In the aftermath, as sun pierced clouds, They surveyed the damage together, hands linked across rows. "We'll regrow," Jamal said. "Stronger." That night, exhausted but unbroken, the family collapsed in the living room, Harlan cracking a rare joke about heaven's target practice. Laughter bubbled, healing hails bite. Fall brought vindication. The counterpetition hit 1,000 signatures, presented at county board with Harlan's gravel voice leading. Willow Creek thrives on roots. Don't uproot the good. Jamal kept his job, the co-op voting unanimously. Ben's B&B blueprint got funding. A queer-friendly haven amid cornfields. As leaves turned, Alex's exhibit toured. Chicago next, whispers of national buzz. At the send-off dinner, toasts flowed. Ben's to adventure, Chris's to circuits of the heart, Harlan's to sons who taught their father. Jamal's eyes locked on Alex's. To us. Forever rooting. Under harvest moon, they made love in the field, earth cradling them, stars witnesses. Alex's truth, once a thorn, now a bloom. Petals unfolding in a family garden, tended by hands once clenched in fear, now open in embrace. Autumn's palette painted Willow Creek in fiery strokes, crimson maples clashing with goldenrod fields, the air crisp with cider and change. The Harper farm stood resilient, cover crops greening the storm-scarred earth, a metaphor for the lives within. Alex's Chicago trip loomed, a 2-week whirlwind of galleries and interviews, his Triplet Truths series hailed as a heartland hymn to authenticity. Reporters probed, how does a triplet navigate identity? Alex's answer, honed in barn confessions. We're mirrors, but each reflects a unique light. Mine's just prismed through love's spectrum. Jamal drove him to the airport in Topeka, the old pickup rattling with unspoken ache. 2 weeks is a lifetime, Jamal teased, but his grip on the wheel whitened knuckles. At departures, they lingered in a corner, kisses fierce and fleeting. Call every night, Alex murmured, forehead to forehead. Dream of me. Jamal's smile was a promise. Every damn second. Chicago assaulted the senses, horns blaring, skyscrapers piercing clouds, a far cry from Kansas quiet. Alex's hotel overlooked Lake Michigan, waves crashing like applause. The opening reception buzzed. Critics in sleek suits, collectors with checkbooks, queer icons toasting his courage. A curator, Elena, with silver-streaked hair and sharp eyes, pulled him aside. Your work sings of survival. What's the muse? Alex glanced at a photo on his phone. The brothers mid-laugh. Jamal photobombed with a grin. Them. All of them. Nights brought homesickness. Video calls bridging miles. Ben's updates. B&B groundbreaking. Mia's blueprints sketched in flower on counters. Chris's. Theo co-designing a queer youth center in Lawrence. Circuits of community. Harlan's gruff check-ins. Farm's fine. Miss your nagging. Jamal's were intimate. Whispers of longing. Shared showers via screen. Voices husky with need. Touch where I would. Jamal breathed one midnight, guiding Alex's hand, distance dissolving in digital fire. Back home, tensions simmered subtle. Ben's construction crew included doubters, hired hands muttering about Harper's fairy tale. One evening, a beam nearly slipped, grazing Ben's arm. Sabotage? Whispers pointed to Evelyn's circle. Ben confronted the foreman, voice steel. My brother's truth, don't make me weak. Cross us, you're out. The man backed down, but the incident scarred, Ben icing his bruise while Mia fussed. We're building more than walls, she said. A statement. Chris and Theo's partnership deepened. A weekend getaway to the Flint Hills, rolling prairies like ocean waves, where they hiked, hands brushing trailside. This feels right, Theo confessed over campfire, marshmallows toasting golden. No labels, just us. Chris nodded, pulling him close, their kiss tasting of smoke and possibility. Returning, Chris shared with the family, vulnerability a gift. Exploring. With you all's blessing. Hugs enveloped, Ben's bearish, Harlan's pat firm. Harlan's private battles surfaced in solitude. Volunteering at the food pantry, he encountered Riley's family, the boy who'd sought Alex's counsel now out, thriving in art club. The father's gratitude cracked Harlan's shell. Your boy gave him wings. That night, Harlan penned letters, unsent apologies to ghosts of his youth, a rigid uncle who'd shunned a deviant cousin, burning them in the fire pit. Ashes swirled skyward, release in smoke. Jamal held the fort, his garden a sanctuary. Harvest festivals drew crowds, his okra pickles winning blue ribbons, charmed disarming skeptics. But loneliness gnawed. Nights in the empty bed, Alex's pillow clutched like talisman. A call from his father arrived mid-week. Reconciliation tentative, a visit proposed. Tell me about him, the elder Washington urged. Jamal's voice steadied. Alex? He's fire and earth. Changed me. Pride warmed the line. Alex's exhibit climaxed in a panel discussion. Queer artists from rural America, stories intersecting like rivers. A panelist, Marcus from Iowa, shared twin estrangement over coming out. Family's a choice, he said. Alex countered, and forgiveness a bridge. The applause thundered, but tears fell for the bridges burned. Return was reunion, Jamal at baggage claim, flowers wilting in fist, their embrace devouring distance. Homeward drive dissolved in pull-offs, hands roaming, laughter bubbling. Missed this, Alex gasped, Jamal's mouth on neck. The farmhouse welcomed with chaos. Ben's mud-caked boots, Chris's blueprint strewn, Harlan's stew simmering. Post-Chicago buzz brought opportunity, a fellowship offer from Kansas City's Nelson Atkins, mentorship, in oils. Alex agonized, weighing roots against wings. Family council convened, porch lit by string lights. Ben, go. We'll hold the fort. Chris, arch your turbine, spin it. Harlan, your moth flew too. Landed stronger. Jamal, eyes deep. I'll follow. Anywhere. Winter whispered in with first frost, farm chores shifting to preservation, canning firewood stacks. The brothers revived holiday traditions, tree cutting in the pines, ornaments handcrafted from barn scraps. Mia directed carols, her voice soprano clear. Theo arrived with lax, fusing Thanksgiving cheer. Harlan carved turkey. Grace said over thanks for truths unearthed. Christmas Eve bonfire crackled confessions. Ben announced engagement to Mia, ring glinting like frost. Cheers erupted, hugs crushing. Chris admitted deeper with Theo. Partners, labels be damned. Jamal pulled Alex aside, snowflakes catching lashes. Marry me soon, before spring thaws us apart. Alex's yes was snow-muffled, joy pure as powder. New Year's dawned resolutions. Ben's to advocate statewide, Chris's to launch the youth center, Harlan's to join PFLAG. Alex's live, unhidden. Jamal's, build our nest. Spring equinox brought wedding plans, small, farmstead affair. Invites winged out. Elena the curator, Riley beaming acceptance. Even Harlan's old rival Wilkins, RSVP with pie recipe. Tensions? A cousin's boycott, but bridges outnumbered breaks. The ceremony unfolded under blooming dogwoods, brothers best men in matching bow ties. Harlan walking Alex down the aisle he'd once patrolled. Vows exchanged, Jamal's in every season, my route to yours. Alex's your truth, my light. Rings slid, simple bands etched with wheat sheafs. Reception spilled into fields. Bluegrass band, Mia's cakes tiered high. Dances swirled. Ben twirling Mia, Chris and Theo swaying close. Harlan with a surprising ante. As stars pricked velvet sky, Alex and Jamal slipped away to the quarry. Blankets spread, bodies celebrating union. Slow, sacred, waves of pleasure cresting like Lake Michigan's remembered crash. In afterglow, Alex traced Jamal's scar from a childhood fall. Our truths intertwined. Jamal smiled, and blooming eternal. The wedding's echo lingered like pollen on breeze. Willow Creek abuzz with reluctant approval. Gossips conceding tolerable fuss. Alliances strengthening in the afterglow. The Harper farm, now Washington Harper and Jamal's hyphenated pride, pulsed with newlywed rhythm. Mornings tangled in sheets, coffee brewed strong, chores shared with synced ease. Alex's fellowship commenced, commutes to Kansas City a blur of highways and hues, his studio a sunlit loft overlooking the river, canvases birthing bolder visions. Queer cowboys roping rainbows, triplet silhouettes against sunsets. Jamal dove into architecture, partnering with a Topeka firm on eco-homes. Designs blending prairie modernism with southern soul. Porches wide for watching storms. Roofs angled for stargazing lovers. Evenings, they pored over blueprints at the kitchen table, fingers tracing lines like bodies. This one's us, Jamal said of a gabled retreat. Hidden nook for midnight truths. Alex kissed his temple. Build a here. Our forever field. Ben and Mia's B&B, dubbed Prairie Hearts. Open Memorial Day weekend. 6 rooms themed in quilts and curios. Welcome baskets stocked with honey and alliance pamphlets. Grand opening drew a crowd. Locals curious, out-of-towners from pride parades. Ben manned the desk in vest and grin, Mia fluttering with keys. Every guest a story, she beamed. Bookings surged, whispers turning to reviews. Sanctuary in the sticks. Chris's youth center, rooted, broke ground in Lawrence. Modular build with art studios, tech labs, counseling nooks. Theo co-led, their synergy electric. Opening gala featured Alex's mural. Intertwined roots bursting earth, colors vibrant as hope. Riley, now 17 and out proud, unveiled it, voice steady. For kids like me, ground to grow. Donors teared, Harlan in corner nodding fierce. Family Sundays evolved, rotating hosts. Menus multicultural. Mia's fusion tacos, Theo's knishes, Jamal's gumbo thick with memory. Harlan, once stoic, shared maudlin tales, his laughter loosening like old hinges. Your mod, love this circus, he'd say, clinking glasses. Challenges crept, insidious as bindweed. A state bill loomed, anti-LGBTQ curriculum curbs, bathroom bans, stirring old vipers. Ben testified in Topeka, voice amplified. Rural kids need mirrors, not masks. My brother's life proves it. Protests followed, counter-rallies with Evelyn's ilk waving flags. Threats pinged Ben's phone. Fairy farm boy. He shrugged them off, but Alex saw the toll, sleepless eyes, Mia's worry lines. Jamal's father visited, a broad-shouldered man with Jamal's eyes, bearing Tulsa pecans and penitence. Dinner was tentative, small talk over ribs, Harlan's questions probing gentle. What changed? The elder asked Jamal later, porch swing creaking. Love and loss, almost losing Alex. Hugs followed, awkward but real, a bridge rebuilt. Alex's art career crested, a solo show in New York, Fields of Fire, touring his Heartland saga. Prep consumed, late nights shipping crates, Jamal packing with kisses. Departure eve, brothers gathered, Ben with beer, Chris with playlist of road anthems. Knock him dead, Ben toasted. Chris, bring back skyscraper sketches. Harlan, make us proud, son. New York devoured, galleries in Chelsea, buzzin' lofts, critics likening his work to Grant Wood meets Audre Lorde. Panel with urban queer voices challenged. How's Midwest love survive? Alex, by fighting quiet, loving loud. Nights, FaceTime, tethered him. Jamal's updates on builds, Ben's booking boom, Chris's center ribbon cut. Home anchored. A storm hit mid-tour. Tornado warnings, farm sirens wailing. Calls flooded. All safe, Ben reported, voice strained. Roof patched, hearts intact. Relief washed Alex, but guilt gnawed, absent in crisis. Return brought reckoning. Family barbecue, grill smoking, stories of winds weathered. You belong here, Jamal whispered, hand in back pocket. Summer solstice marked anniversaries. Weddings first, triplets bond eternal. Picnic at Quarry, baskets unpacked, guitars strummed by Theo. Vows renewed impromptu, laughter mingling with toasts. Ben announced Mia's pregnancy, little hard on the way. Joy exploded, hugs piling like cordwood. Harlan's health faltered then. Chest pains dismissed as indigestion, doctor confirming angina. Hospital in Wichita, monitors beeping like accusations. Family encircled bed. Ben's jokes deflating fear, Chris's questions grilling docs. Alex sketching Harlan's hand in his. Jamal brewed tea, stories distracting. Old man's tougher than oak, Harlan rasped. Recovery was grueling, diet tweaks, walks with Alex, vulnerability cracking his bark. Afraid of leaving you boys unfinished, he admitted one dawn. Sunrise gilding the porch. Alex, we're finished stories, Dad. Thanks to you. Fall foliage frame change. Rooted center thrived, Riley mentoring newbies, walls alive with murals. Ben's B&B hosted a pride retreat, rainbow flags fluttering fields. Alex's show sold out, proceeds funding scholarships. Jamal's firm landed a commission. Queer Community Center in Tulsa, roots to his past. Thanksgiving gathered expanded tribe. Mia round with child, Theo's family zooming in, Jamal's dad carving turkey. Grace's layered, Harlan's for second chances, Ben's for legacies. As pie steamed, Alex reflected. Truth once a solitary burden, now communal feast. Winter's hush brought birth. Mia's labor on solstice eve, Ben pacing delivery room. Dawn heralded baby girl, Ilara, star name for light and dark. Family swarmed, tiny fists waving. Alex held her, Jamal beside, future vivid. New year dawned vows, resilience amid rising tides, bills, biases. But in Harper Fields, seed sown deep, blooming defiant. Alex's truth, sparked to inferno, warmed a legacy unbreakable. Ilara's cries pierced the farmhouse like dawn's first light, a herald of renewal amid winter's grip. Ben cradled her swaddled form, eyes misting as Mia dozed, exhausted bloom. She's got your fire, Alex, Ben whispered, passing the bundle. Tiny fingers gripped Alex's, fierce as any storm. Jamal leaned in, softening his features. Our niece. Perfect. The brothers cooed in turn, Chris tickling toes with engineer precision, Harlan humming an old lullaby their mother sang, voice gravel tender. Parenthood reshaped Ben overnight, diapers and dawn feeds. His alliance work juggled with baby Bjorn's. Mia thrived, B&B bookings adapted to family suites. Prairie Hearts, where love grows. Their new tagline, drawing young families seeking sanctuary. One guest, a trans couple from Omaha, left a review. Felt like home. First time ever. Ben read it aloud at Sunday supper, pride swelling chest. Chris's center, rooted, burgeoned. After-school programs packed. Theo's tech workshops coding apps for queer visibility. A grant-funded expansion. Outdoor amphitheater for storytelling circles. Riley, now college-bound for art school, led the first, from hiding to holding, thanks Harper's. Applause rippled, Chris's eyes on Theo, their quiet partnership deepening into unspoken commitment. Harlan's recovery steadied, meds monitored, walks lengthening to creek edges where ice skimmed water. Alex joined him often, sketchpad in tow, capturing patriarch against frosted backdrops. Used to think strength was silence. Harlan mused one afternoon, came tapping rhythm. Now, it's shouting your name from rooftops. Alex's throat tightened. Learn from the best. Jamal's Tulsa project ignited passion. Blueprints for a center with healing gardens, art lofts echoing Alex's dreams. Commutes meant stolen weekends, but calls bridged. Miss your canvas, Jamal teased, voice low. Alex's New York residuals funded a joint venture. Artist residency in their future home, walls for queer creators. Spring thawed secrets anew. A letter arrived for Alex. Anonymous, postmarked Wichita, your art lies. Repent. Attached photo. Him and Jamal at the quarry, intimate shadows. Fear spiked, sheriff family council. Ben's jaw set. Track it. Press charges. Chris hacked traces, digital breadcrumbs to a disgruntled ex-co-op hand. Confrontation at the feed store. Man crumbling under stairs, apology mumbled. Lost my boy to the life. Thought. Harlan's voice cut. Hate don't bring him back. Love might. The incident galvanized, Ben's alliance partnering with Rooted for safety workshops, Alex donating prints for fundraisers. Town response mixed. Pastor Tate endorsed publicly, Evelyn silent, but attending a session, her questions probing, thawing. Alara's baptism, secular twist in the old church, drew the tribe. Ben carried her font ward, Mia beaming, godparents Chris and Alex flanking. Vows exchanged, nurture truth, foster kindness. Harlan's prayer. May she grow bold as her uncles. Reception at Prairie Hearts, spilled laughter, toast to legacies. Summer scorched, crops thriving under irrigation Chris installed. Farm work bonded anew, triplets threshing side by side, Jamal forking hay, Ilara gurgling in shaded playpen. Evenings, bonfires crackled tales, Ben's dad disasters, hilarious in retrospect, Chris's gadget fails, sparking chuckles. Romance for Alex and Jamal simmered sultry. Picnics in fields, bodies cooling in creek shallows, water beating skin like jewels. One twilight, under willow drape, Jamal proposed expansion. Kids? Someday. Alex's heart soared. With you? Absolutely. Dreams sketched, adoption paths, nursery nooks in their build. Crisis crested in heat's haze. A drought warning, wells dipping low. Harlan's worry creased brow. Like 88. Nearly broke us. Ben rallied co-op shares. Chris engineered rainwater collectors. Jamal sourced grants from green networks. Alex painted thirst. Arid earth cracking. Hands reaching rain. Auction for relief. Proceeds piping water to needy farms. Fall's bounty celebrated resilience. Harvest dance at the fairgrounds. Booths groaning. Alara's first pumpkin patch toddle drew coos. Ben hoisting her high. Alex's mural for the center unveiled. Triplets as trees. Branches entwining diverse leaves. Critics raved, but local impact deeper. Kids pointing, that's me in the green. Thanksgiving swelled table. Ilara in high chair. Theo's kin in from Jersey. Jamal's dad with stories swapped. Grace's layered gratitude. For storms weathered. Truths bared. Winter whispered farewells and hellos. Harlan's checkup cleared. Clean as a whistle, Doc grinned. Ben announced sibling. Boy due spring. Joy doubled. Mia esse, glow radiant. New Year bonfire burned resolutions. Ben's to balance dad duties with activism. Chris's to formalize with Theo, a quiet courthouse wedding planned. Alex and Jamal's, start family file, papers for adoption. As snow fell soft, Alex reflected in journal. Their mother's heirloom. From hidden spark to blazing hearth, truth had forged not just survival, but symphony. Triplets no longer shadowed, but shining, in love's endless harvest. The new year dawned crisp. Willow Creek blanketed in possibilities powder. Alara's first steps wobbled across the farmhouse kitchen. Ben's cheers echoing like victory bells. Mia, capturing on phone for the family chain. Get it, Stardust. Ben hooped, scooping her mid-tumble. The triplets mirrored the glee. Alex filming, Chris analyzing gait with mock science. Optimal weight distribution. Jamal laughed, sweeping crumbs from floor, his presence the steady bass note in their chorus. Chris and Theo's wedding was intimate. Courthouse steps in Lawrence, spring breeze, ruffling vows. Suits casual, boutonnieres wildflowers. Witnesses, brothers, Mia with Alara on hip, Harlan beaming gruff. Rings exchanged simple, partners and all. Reception at Rooted's amphitheater, string lights twinkling, Riley emceeing toasts. Ben's, to circuits of the soul. Alex's, may your roots entwine eternal. Harlan's, build strong, love stronger. Dances swirled till moonrise, Chris and Theo swaying center, hands laced like blueprints. Ben's B&B boomed, expansions planned, annex for retreats, queer history tours of Kansas trails. Fatherhood softened him further. Alara's bedtime stories wove activism. Once, uncles fought dragons of doubt. Mia balanced books. Her pregnancy, a gentle curve, naming debates lively. Orion for the boy, hunter of stars. Alex's residency launched. First artist to poet from Nebraska, walls soaking verses. Jamal's Tulsa center ribbon cut remotely. His design lauded. Sanctuary in soil. Their adoption inquiry met counselors in Topeka, profiles penned. Stable home, loving network. Your naturals, the social worker smiled. Waitlist loomed, but hope rooted deep. Harlan mentored at Rooted, grandpa figure to wary kids, sharing farm wisdom laced with life lessons. Storms pass. Ben, don't break. One boy, echoing young Alex, confessed crushes. Harlan's response, heart knows best. Listen, word spread, his legend growing. Summer solstice picnic marked milestones. Alara's second birthday, cake smeared faces. Ben's son, Orion, due any day. Games ensued. Sack races where triplets tied, Jamal's competitive streak sparking laughs. Evening, under solstice sun, Alex and Jamal renewed private vows by creek, water murmuring assent. Through droughts and deluges, Jamal pledged. Your light, my anchor, Alex echoed. Lovemaking followed in shallows, sun-kissed and sacred. Drought's shadow lifted with rains, but societal gales howled. A national wave of anti-trans bills crashing local shores. Ben's alliance mobilized. Town halls packed, testimonies searing. Alex spoke, deny one, deny all. My brothers taught me unity. Protests peaceful, signs waving. Love is legal. Media swarmed, Ben's face on news, from farm boy to fighter. Jamal's dad relocated nearby. Small apartment in Topeka, visits frequent. Barbecues bridged gaps, his stories of civil rights marches inspiring. Your stand? Echoes ours. Harlan bonded over checkers, grunts turning to yarns. Orion arrived Labor Day. Robust cry filling hospital halls, Ben weeping openly. My son, whole world. Family rotated visits, Alex holding the bundle, Jamal cooing. Future farmer activist, Ben joked. Mia's recovery swift. Homecomings celebrated with feasts. Fall's palette deepened resolve. Alex's next show, Roots Renewed, featured family portraits, Alara's grin, Orion's fist, brothers' bonds. Sales funded Rooted scholarships, Elena curating, evolution of a legacy. Thanksgiving transcended. Orion's first, tables groaning under turkeys and tamales. Grace's collective, for kin chosen, battles braved. Alara's amen, toddler loud, drawing chuckles. Winter's hush birth dreams. Adoption match flickered. A sibling pair, ages 5 and 7. History scarred but spirits bright. Home study passed, excitement electric. Prep, rooms painted sunny. Bookshelves stocked with tales of diverse families. Spring equinox wedding bells for Alex and Jamal. Farm ceremony under arches of lilac. Vows heartfelt. In truth we thrive. Rings renewed. Dance floor alive with generations. Alara twirling, Orion gurgling, Harlan leading Mia. Adoption finalized summer's end. Twins Lily and Luca, wide-eyed wonders. Courtroom tears, homecoming parade of kin. First night, chaos sweet, bottles and bedtime, brothers babysitting rotations. Our quartet, Jamal whispered, Lily on chest. Alex, Luca asleep beside. Harmony complete. Trials tempered joy. Luca's nightmares from past. Therapy sessions tender. Lily's questions probing. Why two dads? Answer simple. Love makes family. Community enveloped. Rooted playgroups, B&B story hours. Anniversaries layered. Triplets 25th, bash epic, bonfire, band balloons. Toasts traced arcs. From Shotgun Dawn to Starlit Now. Ben, from Straight Arrows to Rainbow Arch. Chris, circuits connected. Harlan, proudest harvest. As autumn waned, Alex painted finale. Family sprawled in field, hands linked across ages, truth's tapestry, woven enduring. In Kansas' heart, a triplet's hidden fire had kindled a blaze, illuminating paths for all. Love, unhidden, the ultimate yield.